like to call the meeting of the Alexander County Board of Commissioners into session at this time, and this being January the 5th on Monday, 2026 at 6 p.m. Our invocation tonight will be given by Commissioner Kent Herman. Our Pledge of Allegiance will be given by Commissioner Marty Pennell. Please rise.
You would bow with me. Dear Heavenly Father, just thank you for letting us come back here tonight. And Lord, just thank you for the holiday season we've been through, and thank you for a new year, dear Lord. And Lord, just help us make the right decisions that would be pleasing in your sight for our citizens and lead this county forward. And Lord, just thank you for the military and what they've pulled off. And Lord, thank you for all their safety. And Lord, thank you for the military wherever they're at, and keep them all safe to return back to their homes. And be with our first responders and our sheriff's office and our highway patrols, Lord, that they keep us safe every day, and I think we take it for granted. And Lord, just like I said tonight, help us make the right decisions that be pleasing in your sight. In your name I pray, amen.
If you would direct your attention to the flag. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Does any commissioner have any reports tonight?
Mr. Yoder, I'd just like to say thanks to the fire departments for coming out and helping us deliver 40-some families Christmas. We couldn't have got it done without them, and they really helped out.
Very good. Anyone else? Well, I hope everybody enjoyed their Christmas time off and enjoyed the meaning of what Christmas was all about. And I hope that each of you had a happy new year. I think things with the Christmas parade this year went very well, and we were proud that the county was able to continue that and make sure that that happens for our citizens here in the county. And I guess most of you know this is 2026. You know what that means? It's the 250th anniversary of the United States of America. That's something to celebrate, and it's a big thing. I serve on the 250 Celebration Committee. We meet the second Tuesday of every month, and we've been meeting for several months now. And we have some programs. This America 250 North Carolina, Alexander County 2026 program. And our sponsors this year are Taylorsville Savings Bank, Duke Energy, the Taylorsville Times, and the Carolina Emerald chapter in the NSDAR. There will be things going on, and you can find this on the Alexander County website, and you'll see these things out and about in different parts of the county. And we've done everything that we could to make sure that it's a huge celebration. Our school system's involved, and we're going to have some contests with them. And this committee's been working very, very hard to make this happen. Now, the first event is going to happen on Thursday, January the 15th at 5 p.m. And we'll celebrate Alexander County's 179th birthday. There'll be cake, ice cream, and Apsher Celtic performers. And this will be at the Brushy Mountain Golf Course Banquet Hall. We're looking for a large crowd. We're looking for people to come out. And you can find this on, like I said, on our website. And it's going to be a very exciting time. And we have things set up all the way through December the 12th and of 2026. Come out, support this. It's things that are going to happen to show you our appreciation to the people that did the Declaration of Independence and set us free to where we are today. And thank goodness for our military and the people that did that and our forefathers for the things that went on to make sure that we had a free country, a place where we could speak and we could do the things we need to do. It's vitally important to our citizens to be able to do that. And at this time, anyone else have anything? Okay. At this time, I'm going to call on our county manager Justin, I'll call him Justin, Mundy. I know your last name's Mundy, Mr. Mundy, but if you would, we have a change to our agenda tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So we have two changes to our agenda tonight. The first one under item 11, budget ordinance amendments number 16 through 20. We will be removing number 20 in order to allow staff time to explore options. And then the second change is under the consent agenda. Remove 12G from the consent agenda and move it to the regular agenda items for tonight.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. And that item that we moved from the consent agenda, item G, it'll be under 7A, under 7A. At this time, we have a public comment period, and I'm going to read off here the requirements of the public comment. The public comment period is intended to allow the Board of Commissioners an opportunity to listen to citizens' comments and concerns. It is not a time for the board to discuss issues or answer impromptu questions. A time period of 15 minutes has been established for public comment at the beginning of the first regular meeting in each month. Length of comment for each speaker is limited to 3 minutes. Please select one spokesperson to represent a group of citizens with the same concerns or questions. Comments are to be directed to the board as a whole and not to individual members. Citizens will be expected to be civil and courteous in their language and limit comments to issues of public concern. Topics requiring further investigation will be referred to the appropriate county officials or staff and may be scheduled for a future agenda. Any citizens wishing to address the board during public comment shall call the clerk to the board prior to the meeting to have their name placed on the list. Our clerk will do the timing, and she will let us know when your time is up for your 3 minutes. And I think tonight that we have one person that wanted to speak. That's William King and his issues with DSS, specifically Child Protective Services. William?
I grew up in this county. The only reason I come to y'all this evening is because y'all over the Department of Social Service. For the last 5 years, I believe it was or so, that my grandkids has been taken from me. I sent them money, I sent them gifts every birthday, all of them, every holiday, I sent them. All of a sudden now, I don't know the welfare of my kids because they say that I have no rights and I have no right to see and look for it. But when I joined the Army twice, they didn't say that. When I ran around this county and tried to do the good things, they said when I was doing the bad things, they had me. My grandkids is my life. And I'm gonna fight. I told you the first time I come here, I'm gonna be here until I find something out about my grandkids. I don't know if they're well or what. But I also know there's a law called white slavery, and if you take something from somebody for no reason and put it in servitude, that's white slavery. My oldest grandson is associate professor at Shenandoah. My oldest granddaughter had the full ride of academics down here at State, but yet they say I'm unfit because I'm a grandparent. My grandchildren, like I said, is the most important thing in my life. And I will not stop coming here until I die, until y'all find something out. Why was I stopped from receiving their well-being? Because we all know the social service put kids where they be abused, neglected, and rejected. I will not have it for my grandkids. I will be here until you see me no more. So unless y'all help me, then y'all will keep seeing that Alexander County is in this foray. And I think it's a very ugly foray. So, you know, it's y'all company. Y'all runs it, y'all county. You run everything. I just want justice for my family. I paid my dues in every way. Help me. If you can't help me, please don't hinder me, because I'm gonna fight to the end. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. There was one other thing that I did not mention that I should have under Commissioner's comments, and I'm going to do that now. But if you all will notice, this floor in here has been redone. We had carpet in here that our early college program also does their lunch in here. And so during the Christmas break, we had folks from the school through the CTE program, I believe that's right, isn't it correct, Marty? CTE. They came in and they tore the carpet out, and they put this flooring down. And trust me, this flooring is a lot better than the carpet, because I can slide back and forth real quick, real fast, and it'll also clean up so much better. So these kids from the high school are to be commended on a job well done, and it really looks nice. And the early college folks sent a thank you from Alexander Early College, saying they appreciate the county commissioners for getting this done. I'm going to read the card that they have written. It says, "Dear Alexander County Commissioners, thank you so much for the new floor. It is perfect. We will take great care of it. Please let us know what we can do for you. Our partnership is greatly appreciated. Mary Brown and the AEC community." So we wanted to call that out and let you know that they appreciate it. We're glad it's here. It looks good, looks nice, and I think it'll be a much easier to clean. And so it's very good. Okay? Right, I got you. Yeah. All right.
We didn't vote. We didn't vote.
I was telling them about the commissioner's report, and then I'll vote on this.
Okay.
All right. So, gentlemen, the agenda has been presented to you with the changes in the agenda from item G in the consent agenda will now be item 7A, and that will be the Bent River subdivision right-of-way encroachment agreement. And then we will remove amendment number 20 from the budget ordinance amendments. And I'll make it in the form of a motion to approve the the agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion is made and second. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor, raise your right hand. Those opposed likewise, the motion carries. Thank you very much. Item number 7 on the agenda tonight is public hearing rezoning case RZ-25-05. Patrick Creech, Planning Director.
Thank you, Commissioners. This new floor, it's a loud walk up here. This petition concerns a 1.46 acre property on Lackey Mountain Road. The owner, Brenda Sharp, has recently sought a zoning permit for a single-wide mobile home to place on the property for her daughter, Darlene, to live. The parcel is currently zoned office institutional, or OI, and single-wide manufactured homes are not permitted in OI zoning districts. The petitioner requests this property be rezoned to R3, or Residential Rural 3. The designation of the parcel as OI is the result of a cemetery on the property which dates to the mid-1800s. The property is currently served by water by Energy United, and the Alexander County Planning Board reviewed this petition on December 11th and voted to recommend the rezoning as consistent with the comprehensive plan and the purposes of the Land Development Code. In reviewing a rezoning petition, state law requires the approval authority to consider the following factors. 1, whether it's consistent with the comprehensive plan. This property is located in the rural agricultural area of the future land use plan. According to the comprehensive plan, these areas are meant to preserve the rural character and should be devoted to low-density development. R3 is the lowest density zone available in the Land Development Code. And Chad, if you move forward with that, you'll see that it is deeply into what we would consider the rural agricultural area. 2, you should also consider whether the proposed zoning is consistent with the purpose and intention of the zoning ordinance. According to the Land Development Code, R3 zones are typically meant to be utilized in areas designated as RAA in the comprehensive plan. Furthermore, family cemeteries are common in residential zones in our county. In Appendix H, you will see all the identified cemeteries in the county listed by their zone. There's 127, and 46 are currently in residential zones. 3, you should also consider the full range of permitted uses in the proposed district. Appendix G contains a comprehensive list of the differences between OI and R3. In general, OI has more intense usages than R3. OI is for frequently churches and other civic areas. And so if we move this to R3, there would be fewer permitted uses that might, in some ways, bother neighbors. 4, you should consider whether or not this would potentially be considered spot zoning. As it is largely surrounded by R3 zones, spot zoning is not really a concern. This petition was put forward to the Technical Review Committee and to the appropriate departments. Connie Kincaid, the staff liaison for the Historic Preservation Commission, indicated that the cemetery, although historical, should not be an obstacle to any potential rezoning for residential purposes, and she wrote a brief staff report that is included in your packet. It's in Appendix N. No other comments were received. Staff recommends that the county commissioners approve this rezoning request from OI to R3. It would allow for the applicants to use the property to provide affordable housing for a family member, and we do not anticipate any negative impacts to adjacent property owners. We received no comments from the public on this request.
Gentlemen, at this time, I'd ask that the public hearing be called into, to a motion to open the public hearing in reference to rezoning case RZ-2505 after staff has given their presentation.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we open the public hearing pertaining to rezoning case RZ 2502.
05.
I'm sorry, 05.
Do I have a second?
Mike.
Second.
Motion is made and second. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Those opposed likewise. As this is a public hearing, those in the audience that may have something to say, either pro or con, reference this public hearing, feel free to step up to the podium at this time, or any commissioner at this time has anything they'd wish to say. We have no one from the public speaking.
I have one question, and this is just for personal, I guess, knowledge, or in my case, lack thereof. Like a cemetery, are they not required, I mean, this is just a question, are they not required by law to be maintained for, like, in perpetuity?
So there are a number of state statutes related to cemeteries that includes providing access to family members. And so if this gets rezoned and they do place a single wide there, they would have to allow anybody who is related to the people there to have access there. In terms of maintenance, as far as I know, there's no specific requirements. I know in 2005, actually, the Department of Prisons sent people there to actually clean it up. But currently, it's in a pretty big state of disrepair, which you may have noted in the Appendix I. I went out and I visited and I took some pictures, and I like history, and I found it all extremely fascinating. And there's some specifically some notable citizens who are buried there. I actually think that it's probably more likely to be preserved with somebody living on the property than currently.
Well, I had just always, been told, or I had heard that that was the case pertaining to cemeteries, wherever they may be.
And I should also note that the area where they intend to, place a single wide is in the northern portion of the property. There's more than enough room there for a home. And the area where the cemetery is the wooded portion of the southern area.
Anyone else? No one from the audience has spoken, and our commissioners have no other comments at this time. I'd entertain the motion to close the public hearing.
Make a motion to close the public hearing and rezoning case RZ-25-05.
Second.
Motion is made and second. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor, raise your right hand. Those opposed likewise. Thank you very much, gentlemen. At this time, gentlemen, what is your pleasure?
Make a motion to approve the rezoning case RZ-25-05 as presented to us.
Second.
Motion is made and second. Any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Those opposed likewise, the motion carries. Item number 7A is the item that was moved up on the agenda, and that is the Bent River subdivision. And at this time, I would call on our attorney, Mr. Ben Falconberry.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. The item that was moved from the consent agenda to be discussed tonight is a three-party right-of-way agreement. It's mandatory, an agreement from North Carolina DOT. The applicant in this particular agreement is Town Creek Real Estate Investments, and the project is the Bent River subdivision, which has been before the planning board and has been approved. This agreement will allow the applicant, Town Creek Real Estate Investments, to extend a water line approximately .3 miles east of Highway 127 and Rink Dam Road, along with a sewer crossing approximately .15 miles west of Rink Dam Road and Davis Cove Road. I'm sorry, west of Chigger Ridge Road and Davis Cove Road. Is their intent to install and construct a 8-inch by 8-inch water tap, 26-foot of 8-inch ductile iron pipe, water line, and 16-inch steel casing board under Rink Dam, along with PVC enclosures under Chigger Ridge and a 12-inch jack and board steel casing. This agreement will give them the ability to install underneath the encroachment area for DOT. They're responsible for the installation, for the flagman, for everything. But since we maintain through the city of Hickory, water lines as well as sewer lines, once that is completed and everything is approved by the city of Hickory and NCDOT, those lines typically are dedicated to the county for maintenance after that. That has yet to be determined, but that is the future next step. I'm here to try to answer any other questions. I think Dan Chabaldine is the engineer on this project. He is also present if you have any questions for him. Staff's recommendation is to sign the agreement.
Has anything been installed yet?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Okay. I believe Mr. Mayberry's involved in it too, is that correct, Ryan?
I believe so.
Is this to just go from one side of the road to the other, or does it go across any yards?
Yes.
Good evening. I'm Dan Chabaldine, Chabaldine Engineering, representing the Town Creek. In regards to the agreement, it's a three-party agreement. Of course, no work can be done until we get approval from DOT, and this getting the encroachment agreement approved and submitted is the last step of that approval process. We've got a driveway permit from the DOT, so this is the last piece that we need from DOT. But nothing's been installed yet. It won't be installed until we, of course, get the permits. That'll be down the road. It'll extend from the right-of-way on the north side to the right-of-way on the south side. That's all it covers, is just the work within the right-of-way. What it's doing is it's giving us permission to work within the right-of-way and install these utilities. So it'll be a water line extension across Rink Dam Road. The water main's on the north side of the road, the property's on the south side of the road. And then there'll be a force main that crosses Chigger Ridge Road south of Davis Cove intersection as well. And then it'll run up about, I think it's 100 feet to a manhole that, actually we had done the sewer extension several years ago, so it'd tie into that manhole.
So will that be going through people's yards and driveways or not?
The water line will not. Water line goes across the road into the driveway of the subdivision, and then, of course, extended through the subdivision. The sewer,
You talking about the new subdivision?
yeah, the new subdivision, sorry. It'll be going in through the, routed through the new subdivision for services and all that. Now, the sewer will be going across a private property, but we've acquired an easement for that extension.
Mr. Chairman, so it is water and sewer both will ultimately be.
Yes, sir. Water on the Rink Dam Road side and sewer on the Chigger Ridge side.
So bore under the road for the water, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Will this one bore, because I don't know exactly where the sewer line is out there, will that take care of both sides of Rink Dam that, what's the name of it? Town Creek owns on both sides? So you won't have to do it again later, or not? Or did I
I'm not
do that?
sure if I understand that. The water line's on the north side, runs along Rink Dam Road on the north side, so we're gonna tap that and then run a 8-inch line underneath Rink Dam Road, and that'll serve the subdivision. That's all we're doing, is tying in just a tap on the existing line with and then a service line that runs down to the subdivision.
Maybe a little premature. How many houses are you planning on? Any plan on how many's gonna be on that property?
Well, the plans has been approved by the county, it's got 87 lots on it.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Gentlemen, I think this is something that the owners are gonna, they put the cost for that, then after everything's settled and done, then the county will take over the water lines on that part right there, that's put in there. And they'll be responsible for the maintenance of that because it's took it in our system, and they take care of the principal cost at the beginning, and then after that, the county will assume responsibilities for the repairs. So at this time, I'd entertain a motion to approve as presented.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the three-party right-of-way as presented.
Motion is made, is there a second?
Second.
Motion is made and second. Any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by
We need development.
do, yes. All those in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Those opposed likewise. The motion carries. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. Okay, item number 8 is a public hearing, Economic Development Incentive Grant for Project Tartan. Michael Worley, Economic Development Director.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. It is my pleasure to bring before you tonight an Economic Development Incentive Grant request by KMC Furniture LLC, otherwise referred to as Project Tartan. Alexander County Economic Development Department began discussions with KMC Furniture LLC in October of 2025. The company is a new company formed to acquire Kincaid Upholstery from Lazy Boy, located at 1320 NC 90 in Taylorsville. They employ approximately 97 people, and the company has provided to the Economic Development Director their financials and lender information. The KMC Furniture LLC company will be locating its headquarters to the newly acquired Kincaid Upholstery Company here in Taylorsville, and they will enable them to keep and strengthen the company here in Alexander County. This grant will assist them in achieving greater efficiency and growth, therefore increasing their competitiveness. The project includes approximately $2,600,000 in acquisition and capital investment and is anticipated to create an additional 5 to 7 new jobs, while retaining their 97 existing jobs for a total of 102 to 104 jobs in the future. Based on the anticipated capital investment, a Level 1 Economic Development Incentive Grant for real property tax will be 60% in an amount not to exceed $50,700 to be paid over 5 annual payments based upon appraised value each year by the Alexander County Tax Office after the company has paid their yearly taxes. This grant is based on the company's projected total investment of $2.6 million in company acquisition and real property building improvements over the grant period. Based on its projected investment in Alexander County, the current tax rate, and assuming a consistent assessed value with no depreciation on real property, the company will pay an estimated alvarem taxes of $86,542 on real property taxable investment over that grant period. Actual tax revenue of the county will be based on assessed value of the real property investment each year, depending upon the appreciation and/or depreciation schedule and timing of the investments. It is the recommendation of Alexander County Economic Development Department that Alexander County Board of Commissioners award a Level 1 Economic Development Incentive Grant to KMC Furniture LLC in the amount not to exceed $50,700 and authorize Chairman Larry Yoder to sign the incentive agreement. At this time, I would like to recognize Max Dyer, President CEO of KMC Furniture LLC, whose grandfather and great-grandfather started Kincaid Furniture in 1946, and he's here available now to answer any questions you may have.
Gentlemen, at this time, as this is a public hearing, Economic Development Incentive Grant for Project Tartan, I'd entertain a motion to open the public hearing.
Make a motion, we open public hearing.
Second.
Motion's made, second. Any further discussion? All those in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Motion carries. Ruth, if you'd like to speak, sir, this would be a good time to come up
Say
and
something.
speak.
Come on
That'd be great.
Well, good evening, and thank you for entertaining our opportunity with us. We're excited about the opportunity, and we feel, like the big goal here is for us to continue to grow the business that's here. To give you just a little bit of background, Lazy Boy has owned Kincaid Furniture since 1987, and Kincaid in the year 2000, purchased Alexville Furniture, which is the facility that we're talking about now. And I've been associated with that off and on, but pretty much consistently for the last 7 or 8 years with P&L responsibility over that division. And the division's had a lot of growth. It's been a really good project for us. In fact, it's been one of the fastest growing parts of the Lazy Boy organization, albeit a much smaller piece than much of that business. Lazy Boy, about over the past 12 months or so, has made a decision to focus more on the retail side of the business, which they have more recently become more vertical in that way, where they own their own retail stores. And in that time, they've determined that the best thing for Lazy Boy is to focus more on what is considered their core business operation. Those things branded Lazy Boy Furniture. It makes a lot of sense, but it does leave some of the other business units to sort of figure out a different path. So they decided to exit those units. As I started to see the opportunity or the change coming, we approached the company and they agreed to sell us the business. So we're very excited about it. I will tell you that this business, what a great place you have here in Alexander County. But it's just become a wonderful place for me to be and to be associated with. We have 8 employees in this particular facility that have been there for over 40 years. We have 1 employee in the facility who started 6 months after the original building was built on that same property, and he's still with us today. So that speaks volumes about the team of people and the family atmosphere that truly is a family atmosphere there. And so we're excited about it. We have already we've already approached our customers. We've already approached a number of our vendors, many of whom are in this county. We buy from Carpenter Foam. We buy from a number of people that are here in the area. And we have the support of both of those parties. So it's very exciting for us, and we appreciate your entertaining our opportunity.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I think it's one of those things that's a very great opportunity for Alexander County. And I really like the idea that you folks have been involved for a long time. You know the furniture business. You know what you need to do. And the other thing I like is that family atmosphere that says volumes about a company with employees that have been there that long. And I look forward to good things happening to you, and I hope you grow and get to hire another 200 employees. That'd be fantastic. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Chairman Yoder?
Yes, sir.
What was your name again, sir?
Max Dyer?
Max Dyer?
Yes, sir.
I am one of the folks from this county that actually worked there when it was Alexville Furniture, both in trimming, upholstery, and
No kidding.
PD. And that's back when the Rosemans,
Yes, sir.
FP Wright, those folks owned it, and then it was acquired by Kincaid at that time. And it's my understanding that y'all are coming in to keep the doors open.
That's correct.
And I just want you to know that from someone that's worked in that actual building with the 40-year folks that's been there and have met every one of them and worked beside them, that plant has provided for a lot of families for a lot of years in our community, and that would be a shame to see that shut down. So I want to commend you, number one, for stepping up to the plate and investing in what we think is a great investment. And that's an investment in Alexander County's future for the folks that work there and the future employees. I don't remember how many years I worked there, but it was quite a few. I built furniture for 17 years before moving on. And I hated to leave there, but I was being called elsewhere. So, but like I said, I just want to commend you for coming into our county and being a stakeholder.
Well,
So thank you.
Thank you, and we may have a job for you. So we'd love to have you back.
I don't think I'm looking again. But you do have some, your biggest assets down there is your employees, by the way.
Yes,
They're
no
great.
question. There's no question.
Mr. Chairman, I just want to say too, I thank you for, we're not here meeting about something that's shutting down. Thank you for taking that business over, and, I want to see Alexander County move forward. If it's 5 jobs, 10 jobs, 25, 30, we're looking for the couple hundred too. Mr. Roy's been doing a good job for us in EDC, and I appreciate y'all staying in the county and moving your headquarters to here too, so
Absolutely.
thank you.
Thank you.
Very good. Mr. Worley, I want to bring one thing up here, and I'd like for you to address it if you don't mind during this public hearing. But, when we do things of this nature, I mean, we talk about them, and we talk about them 2 or 3, 4 weeks, sometimes 6 months, and we continue to work on projects for Alexander County that we're not able to speak about, because at that time, we do that out of respect for the sellers, respect for the buyers, and respect for everybody, so that it doesn't cause an alarm to anyone. And we do that. And I know some things, people have asked me, said, why don't y'all talk more about what you're doing in economic development? And if you don't mind, I know it's public hearing, totally respect that, but could you explain a little bit about how it works in economic development when you're working with this gentleman and the things that you sort of have to do to make things work, to bring it all together, and the reason there is a silence period? I'd just like to address it for the public's knowledge so they'll know that we're not just sitting here not trying to help this gentleman to bring jobs to this community. We're actually working day in and day out because we want to see Alexander County prosper, see his new business prosper, and if we get the opportunity to bring in a new business, we're also trying to do that.
Yeah, I mean, there's several reasons for being silent. Number one is a competitive advantage. If we release information to the general public when we're negotiating either incentives or deals or buildings or whatever the case may be, if those are released to the public or have leaked to the public, it could run a potential company and jobs away from the county to somebody else. So companies who acquire about industrial property or buildings or what have you, when they come, a lot of them coming from the state, some of them calling my office. When they do that, they're looking for silence to not expose them. A lot of times, if not all the time, signing NDAs. If I don't sign an NDA, I always assume that I'm under one just because of the magnitude of what the company's looking for. So if we release things to the public before prematurely, it could run a company off, it could lose jobs, good-paying jobs. It could lose our competitive advantage to the state of North Carolina and even in South Carolina and Virginia. So, we strive to make sure that everything's going on properly and moving forward. Some things we discuss in closed session, so that way we can prepare you guys for what's coming down the pipeline. And then we always look for that day when we can announce it, because I like positive things. I hate when a warn notice comes out and it blindsides you or something like that. Fortunately, in this case, we have some great investors that are moving this company forward and going to make Alexander even stronger. And that's one of the things that's exciting about this job. So holding the secrets in is not my fanfare. I don't like to do that. But again, if we get loose-lipped, a lot of times we lose that advantage, and we don't want to do that. So when you're operating with these big corporations, all the way down to a one-person solopreneur, they demand respect and professionalism, but they also they confide in sometimes a lot of trade secrets that I can't talk about to move things forward, and would it be a good fit for our county and our employees that we have. that commute back and forth in and out of the county. So that's a brief, quick reason, and that's why we do it.
Thank you, sir. If you don't mind, would you tell us what NDA is?
A non-disclosure agreement.
Thank you very
Which
much.
means I cannot disclose.
I understand that, but there's a lot of people, you say NDA or FDA or ABC, and they don't know what those stands for, so I just wanted you to say what
There
that
you
would
go.
say for, sir. Okay?
I hope I don't deal with the FDA and the Food, Drug, and Administration.
Right,
but,
I
you know.
understand. Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
And Mr. Dyer, I did that because I think that the public needs to know that we do work on things and Michael has worked with you and worked diligently with you, and you all have worked real good together. And I want to tell you out of total respect for both of you, I really appreciate it, and I really appreciate the opportunity that you've taken to continue to make sure that this plant stays open. And thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. May I make one more
Oh, yes, sir. You say what you'd like to say.
I would like to commend Michael Worley. You've got a great guy here, and he did a lot of good work for us and was very prompt. We were on a very tight time frame, with a lot of moving parts with a public company, and that is complicated. And he did an excellent job, and I appreciate his resourcefulness, his ability to get us where we needed to be and to answer the questions we needed answered. So thank you, and thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Does anyone else have anything? Gentlemen? If not, I'd entertain a motion to close the public hearing at this time.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we close the public hearing at this time.
Second.
Motion is made second. Any further discussion? There being none, all in favor of closing the motion? Closing the public hearing, raise your right hand. The motion carries. Gentlemen, what is your pleasure?
Make a motion to approve the development incentive grant for Project TARP.
Second.
The motion is made and second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Hey, we're glad to have you. We're glad that we could be a part of it, and thank you very, very, very much for thinking of Alexander County and keeping that Kincaid name going for a long time.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Absolutely. You're going to stay with us there, so don't move. Item number 9 is public hearing, CPACE Program Participation Resolution. Mr. Mike Worley, Economic Development Director.
All right. Once again, thank you, Commissioners. And tonight, I have the privilege of presenting an overview to help future companies and those that are existing and new companies that may come to the county with the NC Commercial Property Assessed Capital Expenditure Program, most notably known as CPACE, and outlining what potential participation would mean for our county. In 2024, the General Assembly passed Senate Bill 802, which created CPACE program, and under NC General Statutes 160A-239 of the CPACE Act, the Economic Development Partnership of North Carolina, which is the EDPNC, my apologies, is designated to administer the CPACE program. Similar CPACE programs are active in over 36 states across the nation and have attracted more than $7 billion in private investment to thousands of properties. Closer to home, an example this past year, 2025, would be Gaston County having a $6.5 million loan to a new company that came there. The purpose is simple, which is to give commercial property owners, like I just mentioned, access to private long-term financing for building improvements to new and existing buildings. Those building improvements are focused around improving energy efficiency, water conservation, renewable energy, and resiliency. These improvements will support economic development within the county, and companies and businesses could use it to improve indoor air quality, new facilities, and creating new jobs for our community. And with that, also helping withstand in natural disasters. As I just stated, under state law, this program is administered specifically by the EDPNC. It's available to the owners of qualifying commercial, industrial, agriculture, and multifamily homes or properties. There's a potential for resident properties with 5 or more units to be using this program. Property owners can finance up to 35% of the property's value, and in some cases, finance up to 100% of their particular project. And that repayment term may be extended 20 to 30 years based on the useful life of the improvements. There's an important note that all financing of this program is provided by private capital providers and not by the county. The county is not involved in lending money or overseeing terms of those agreements between the property owner and the lenders. The process works with the property owner and the capital provider negotiating a finance agreement, and the county would then record the assessment lien and similar tax to a tax lien on the property, but only after the owner requested, and that assessment is repaid over time by the property owner, similar to a tax assessment. Billing, collection, and enforcement is all handled entirely by the capital provider. The county has no role in collections. If the property is sold, the lien assessment could be paid at the closing table, or it could carry on with the property for the new owner if they so choose, if it has already been paid off previously. What this means for Alexander County, it's intended to be a cost-neutral and requirement minimum for administrative resources. But we are reimbursed for our administrative costs for our part in the program. The administrative role of the ED&P&C is that they handle all applications, they approve all applications, prepare closing documents, record the assessment and lien, and the county's primary role is simply signing the required assessment documents once they're approved. There are 3 steps to joining this program. Ben Falconberry had mentioned last time to adopt a resolution of intent, which you guys did on December the 8th. Hold a public hearing, which we're doing tonight, and adopt the final resolution to join the CPACE program, which authorizes ED&P&C to administer this program within our jurisdictional limits of Alexander County. If it's the board's pleasure to adopt the final resolution and join this statewide program. Again, this is a private investment tool that can be used for economic development purposes within the county to give our industrial, commercial, and small business property owners access to another funding resource for financing new projects, which would cause an inducement of economic value to the county by growing property values and on those commercial properties intended. With that being said, it's the Economic Development Department's recommendation that the Board of Commissioners adopt the CPACE resolution in the affirmative, and I'll try to answer any questions that you may have.
Gentlemen, this is a public hearing, CPACE program participation resolution. I would introduce to you a motion to open the public hearing.
Make a motion to open the hearing.
Second.
Motion is made and second. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Motion carries. As this is a public hearing, the audience has the ability at this time to ask any questions, and we'll open the floor up at this time, and also to commissioners.
Mr. Chairman, just have one thing, Mr. Worley. So really what this does is makes it easier if someone wants to come into the county, they have some different options other than just one thing that we've typically had. that they
Yeah, I
can
mean, this
get some
offers
funds.
a loan program, which is not typical to commercial, because it can go up to 30 years. Another thing is with that being 30 years, the payback's a little cheaper and the cash flow's a little better for some of the smaller companies that need that cash flow. The other thing is that it can transfer with ownership, so loans don't do that. So if a company chooses to sell their, do the improvements and then turn around and sell the company in their investments that they have made a profit and made it a lot more profitable, and turn around and sell that business, the loan can actually carry with the company that actually purchased it. So it can run with the land instead of the actual person. So it induces an opportunity for smaller businesses, commercial properties, industrials. You know, like I said, there's a large investments involved where people are loaning millions of dollars on this thing, but also to those that may have a 1 or 2 person operation that can get some money and get some financing, so.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? No one from the audience has asked to speak, so therefore, at this time, I'll accept a motion to close the public hearing.
I make a motion to close the public hearing.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion's made and second. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor of closing the public hearing, raise your right hand. Motion carries. Gentlemen, what is your pleasure?
I'll make a motion that we approve the resolution authorizing Alexander County, North Carolina to participate in the Commercial Property Assessed Capital Expenditure CPACE program.
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Motion carries. Thank you very much, Mr. Worley. Item number 10, Alexander County branding presentation. Mr. Gary Herman. Mr. Herman, I'll let you introduce your guest.
All right, thank you, Chairman Yoder.
They're going to do a presentation.
Yes, sir. Want to give just a brief introduction. We're excited to be here tonight to present the Alexander County branding package. We've been working on this since mid-2025. If you guys remember, we entered into an agreement with Haven Creative to complete our branding initiative. The Haven team, they've worked extensively with county staff, our branding committee, and the community to develop this information that you're about to see tonight. So it's my honor to present Mr. Ian Redmond and Gemma Pisano with Haven Creative. I think you're going to like what you're going to see here.
Thanks, Gary. Good evening. Thank you, Commissioners, for having us tonight. As Gary mentioned, my name is Ian Redmond. I'm the Director of Strategy at Haven Creative, and I'm here tonight with Gemma Pisano, who is Haven Creative's Creative Design Manager. Together, Gemma and I have spent the last several months working closely with Alexander County staff to engage in a conversation with residents, business owners, and the public about how Alexander County can position its brand for the future. And before we talk about that brand, and I know some of you have seen some sneak peeks tonight, I want to tell you a little bit about Haven Creative and who we are, just so you know kind of where we come from and the process we took to get to the branding that you'll see tonight. So this is just a little bit of our team. We're a small agency. We're based in Charlotte, North Carolina. We were founded a little over 10 years ago by Jenny Buchholt, who is from Waxhaw, North Carolina. And for the last several years, Gemma and I have worked closely with towns, counties, and local governments to facilitate branding projects throughout North Carolina, Virginia, and South Carolina. And we have done a lot of really, you can go, you're good. We've done a lot of work with some communities nearby. Pilot Mountain, Maiden are probably two of the closest ones to Alexander County. We've also worked with similar communities like Rockbridge County, Virginia. And really all of our work centers around three main goals and why we would decide to brand a county or any municipal government. And the first and foremost is building trust. Just like you would have a police officer with a badge or the star on their chest, you want to know that you're interacting with the official, trusted representative for the Alexander County government. The brand is your way to build trust with residents and business owners to say, this is who we are, this is what we're about, and this is what you can expect when you live in Alexander County, work in Alexander County, or come visit. As we've been talking a lot tonight about economic opportunity, branding is that shiny, really the face that you put on for the county, right? To say, hey, come here, we have opportunities for you. We want you to, acquire a business, move here, add jobs, work here, live here. It's all about attracting that economic opportunity. And the thing that I think a lot of people don't really think about is how do we protect and preserve the identity of Alexander County? I think you said it was 179th birthday this year for the county, right? There's a lot of history in the county that is important to many people. You have almost 37,000 residents, and they all have stories, they all have family, they have connections to Alexander County. And our goal in any branding project is to identify and protect those pieces of Alexander County's identity. What I like to say is when we're doing a branding project, I'm not coming in to say, this is who Alexander County is. My job is to really listen to your community, your residents, and your business owners, and hear what they say Alexander County is. And I feel really confident that the branding you're going to see tonight, that hopefully, as you all consider and decide to approve, really represents the view and the opinion and the identity of your residents and business owners throughout the county. We met with Gary and several county staff at the very beginning of our project to set some goals internally about what we want this branding project to be. And the first thing is just what we were talking about. We want a brand that reflects Alexander County, who we are, what it means, and how we want to be seen. And I think there's a moment here, I just want to pause and clarify what I mean when I say brand. Because many people hear that and they think, okay, it's a logo and it's a tagline, and that's it. And really, when we think about and talk about branding, it's more about perception. When I say the words Nike, words automatically come up into your mind. You have a perception about that company. When we talk about a fast food company like Wendy's, you have perceptions. We do the same thing with county government. And that's really the goal of this project is what are those words and those perceptions that we want to protect and preserve and project forward for Alexander County. We also heard from our branding community and committee that we wanted to honor the history of the county and make sure that every message that we are using to talk about Alexander County honors that history and is unified across all generations and across all people to the best of our ability. I'm not going to lie to you and say that everything that we put together is going to be supported by 36,800 some residents, because there's never 100% satisfaction on anything, even if you had unlimited time, money, and energy. But our goal is to get as much of that unity as we can to really do a good job of hearing from residents. And we'll talk a little bit about the steps we did to do that today in this project. And then finally, as we get into the next steps, how do we make sure that the work and the investment that your staff has made in clarifying and developing this new brand identity is actually used consistently and correctly among staff, and then hopefully adopted by the general public and becoming a part of their identity as well? So we did a lot of work in the front end, and Haven has a process that we follow as we go through community branding that we call develop, design, and deploy. This is just fancy words for, we've learned a lot in our 10 years of branding, and if we don't take the time to slow down the research and the listening phase, we often found ourselves in a place where, okay, we're close, but we're not quite right. And the work that you see on the screen today really represents this process in action. We spent several months communicating with and listening to residents, business owners, and the general public in Alexander County. We did some competitor research as well, but a lot of what we spent our time doing is actually in our interview and site visit process. And so we had 3 different surveys that we put out, one to county staff, one to community leaders like church leaders, town officials, and other general public. And then we also had a community-wide survey, and we'll talk through some of the high-level results of that. On top of that, our team has also spent time here in the county. I've been here, I think, 2 or 3 times, spending time within the county conducting man-in-the-street interviews. I've eaten at, I think, Apple City Tap House, and we ate at the Yellow Door Deli as well. And we've been in and around the community just to try to see some of the different aspects of Alexander County as part of that, to really learn who the county is and how we can present that brand effectively. You can go to the next one. As I mentioned, the surveys are where we collect most of our quantitative data. And one of the things I just want to call out is Alexander County was really interested in giving us their opinion, which was amazing. We had 505 responses on the community survey. In my 5 years of doing this work and Haven's 10 years, this is the most number of community survey responses for a county of this size. It's about a 4% margin of error in terms of the raw numbers, although we're not a polling company, so I don't balance for demographic, like age, gender, or race. So just to give you all clarity on that piece. If the branding is approved, you will be receiving a comprehensive report, which goes through a lot of these survey highlights in detail. So if you're curious about data and want to learn more, we do include a lot of that. If you want to go to the next one. I don't actually know where Chad is. Okay, he's in the back. I got it. All right, so one of the most important questions we ask, as I mentioned, branding is all about perception. And we ask, what are those words that come to mind? When I say Nike, you all had a word that came to mind. When I say Vegas, you probably have a different word that comes to mind, right? So we asked, and this is probably one of the most fascinating activities of the entire branding project. What are the 3 words that come to mind for Alexander County? And as you can see on your screens, a lot of them revolve around the word home. You'll also see a lot about the physical space in the county, the people of the county, that word family, pretty close to the top 3. I think it's in the middle of 2, in the middle of 3. And a lot about the feeling of Alexander County. And this feedback is pretty consistent, and you can go to the next one, with a lot of the research and conversation that we had, whether it was at the bar in Apple City or in our surveys or in our panel interviews. There are several key themes that kept coming up over and over and over again. Alexander is a county that has some of that small town feeling of, hey, I know my neighbors, I know who lives down the street. When I go to the grocery store, I see faces that I recognize. And it's really hard to quantify the emotion of feeling at home, that peace, that safety. There's a lot of different words you can play in. And that word home came up an overwhelming number of times, if I'm being honest. We've had some communities where the number 1 word is traffic, which probably wouldn't surprise you. Home was the number 1 word for Alexander County. And I think that's a really important conversation to have when we talk about what is the identity of the county. We also heard a lot about people, though, and I'm calling this a community of neighbors. We heard a lot about what it's like to live here and work here, and people who have lived here their entire lives and have never moved away and know every single person that they interact with on a regular basis, or have known a lot of the people that they interact with. But it's not all just back in time looking or rear view mirror looking, but we heard a lot about where the county wants to go. And the term that I would use is open to change, but. And the why for that phrase is people want growth in the right way. And what we heard in a lot of our surveys is, hey, we're really excited about new jobs. We really want to see more growth, more restaurants, but we don't want to become them. And you can insert any other county or community you can think of when I say that, of we don't want to be stuck in traffic. I don't want to see my neighbors all the time in terms of when I'm standing on my property and I can see into my neighbor's kitchen. There are some really strong views of what change and what potential looks like for Alexander County. And I think one of the things that most people, when they responded, did not want to change was that feeling of small community living, where we had that community of neighbors, where we had that sense of togetherness and connection. So just wanted to point that out, because I think that is something that's important, that as you're making decisions from the dais, like you are tonight, about economic growth opportunities or rezoning, we heard an appetite for moving forward and doing new things in the research, which is helpful, because a lot of communities might hear, well, why are you doing this? Why are you rezoning? Why is that new development coming? What's happening here? And it can be a little defeating after a while if you're an elected official to just hear the negative, right? So I think that's a really important perspective to hear from your community. If you want to go to the next. So let's stop talking about the why and the what process and start talking about Alexander County itself. Now, one of the things I like to do when I'm presenting a brand is to tell you a story. And we heard a pretty powerful story in all of our research, and you'll see some elements of that story here on this cover page to our brand book, if you want to go to the next one. But that story is best encapsulated in what we call our brand story. And I'm just going to share that brand story for the public record. I think this is being recorded, and I don't know how easy it is to read the screen. For more than 150 years, Alexander County has been home to a community built on faith, resiliency, and natural resources. It is a place of natural beauty, made up of rolling hills and bountiful orchards, set against the backdrop of nearby mountains. You might never see your neighbor from your backyard, but you'll almost always see them around town, at a local event, or even in the grocery store. Alexander County is also a hidden gem in the foothills, offering industry, agriculture, small businesses the potential to find their home. In Alexander County, you'll find space to grow. There's a couple things I just want to call out here. First of all, you'll see tagline, and we're going to talk about that right at the end, space to grow. We went through several rounds of conversation and iteration on tagline, how we might use it, and where that tagline will play into the Alexander County brand. But the other thing is you'll hear words in this brand story that I'm going to be saying a lot more as we go through this presentation, because these are key themes and words that we found the residents and business owners used to describe the county when they told us about their experiences. One of the things with a brand story is this is meant to be the starting narrative, but really the work that we're showing you here today is just the first phase, and there's a lot of work that goes into rolling out a brand. And this story that we just talked about tonight is really the first iteration. And so if you all choose to adopt this brand, there'll be a lot of work that Gary and Chad do to communicate around this brand story, more so than just the paragraph you see on the screen. Before I talk a little bit more about tagline, though, I want to go to the brand pillars and what those are. And brand pillars, I like to think of them as core values for a brand. These are the immovable, unshakable foundation that any brand is built on. And all of these pillars are based in the feedback and conversation that we got from your community. And our goal as we're doing branding is to take that 505 responses from our community survey and the hours of conversation that we have in panel interviews and man on the street interviews and try to sum that up into 3 paragraphs. And it can be a lot. What I want you to know about these brand pillars as commissioners and as the public is these are meant to be nods to the things that are underpinning all of life in Alexander County. And I want to start with faith and community because I think this one's really important. One of the things that we heard about Alexander County is very faith-based, very faith-forward. Obviously, there are a lot of churches in the county, but more so than just the literal faith that is practiced and the religion and worship here in the county, there's a deep-seated faith in the people of Alexander County. There are several stories that I heard while we were going through our research part about how when things get tough, like a business goes out of, like a business closes and people lose jobs, or there's an economic downturn, people in Alexander County come together and help each other first. During Hurricane Helene recovery, how Alexander County helped each other out when there was storm damage. This faith in each other and this faith in community was something that was really prevalent in a lot of the feedback and conversation that we had when we had answers from people that were longer or more in depth. And this is meant to be hey, we as Alexander County believe in each other. And when the going gets tough or when we need a moment to celebrate Alexander County, we turn to each other first. And that's really the main concept behind faith and community. Home to Tranquility should be pretty easy for all of you who live here, which I think is everyone in this room except for me. Alexander County, from everything I've seen, is beautiful. And preserving that beauty and preserving that small town feeling, that quality of life is really important to the residents and their feedback. And that Home to Tranquility is a really key defining aspect to Alexander County's identity. And I'm not going to spend a ton of time on open to potential because I think we've seen it most clearly here tonight in your public hearings. You had KFC, I'm sorry, I don't remember the name, Kincaid Furniture come in to say, hey, we are going to expand and grow our business here and we're going to add jobs. This is exactly the type of feedback that we heard from residents in this process, wanting to see investment in jobs, in industry, being able to add that. And looking at how the community was giving us feedback during the branding process, they wanted to see that growth. But again, there was that but in the we want to change. So you have that open, wide field of where you could go in the future. And I think that's a really big boon for the county, which is why this was a big piece. You have a lot of potential for where you could go. You could take any number of decisions. people want to move forward, and they want to do it in a way that preserves that tranquility and that faith in community, which is why we have those brand pillars. If you want to go to the next. We also, just to talk really quickly here, have given the brand a personality. And at a really high level, what this is this is just how we speak and interact with residents, business owners, and visitors. Everything from how social media is presented or written or posted to what happens at the customer service desk in the county services building. These are all places for Alexander County's brand identity to shine through. What we uncovered was that Alexander County is what we're calling the innocent explorer, where we have a lot of safety, that tranquility in small town living, but also that open to potential where not just on the economic side that we've been talking about, but if you've got a passion or an outdoor adventure that you want to pursue, like rock climbing or paintballing, Alexander County has space for you to do those things. If you want to go to the next. There's a couple of examples in here, but just a real quick breakdown of how we think about the innocent explorer. Alexander County comes across as authentic and optimistic and friendly and open. We want to make sure that we're not coming across as dismissive or discouraged or pessimistic. And if you're a county staff, we want to make sure that when we're the innocent explorer, we're not being brutally honest or rude in any customer, resident, or business owner interactions. There's some example language there that's included in the brand book, but really this personality comes down to offering space to grow for residents, businesses, and visitors. If you want to go to the next, which is where we came up with the tagline "Space to Grow" in a lot of conversation with our commissioners. And taglines are really the cherry on top for any branding. The brand pillars and the brand story and that personality are the key pieces. But the tagline "Space to Grow" is your opportunity to really flourish and show the county just what you are and what you can be to visitors and businesses. Gary and his team have a lot of work ahead of them to implement and communicate this brand. One of the opportunities that I want you all to think about as we look at and consider this branding is how you can use this tagline to tell Alexander County's story. So one of the things that we like to do with taglines is build on them. We established the initial tagline, "Space to Grow," and you can run marketing campaigns or you can communicate with the public using this tagline. Space to grow a family, space to grow a business, space to grow your love of the outdoors. These are all ways that you can use this brand to help achieve Alexander County's goals and communicate what the county is about and what you want people to associate with or what that perception can or should be for the county. So at that, I'm going to be quiet now and let Gemma talk through some of the design guides, and then I'll come back up to answer any questions.
Good evening. My name is Gemma Pisano. I am the creative design manager at Haven Creative. It has been a pleasure working on this project with Alexander County, and I'm really excited to show you the visual brand today. We're going to start off with the logo story. So you saw the main logo at the beginning of the presentation, and what we've done here is pull it in 3 parts to kind of tell the story behind the logo. It was made clear to us during our rounds of design with the branding committee that we wanted the logo to have elements that were unique to Alexander County, and we did that by showcasing different areas around the county and connecting these different design elements to our brand messaging. So if you look at the top there with our AC icon, we have at the heart of it Rocky Face Mountain. This was something that we heard a lot of in our Man on the Street interviews and our surveys. This was a place in the county that a lot of people love, and we wanted to memorialize that in the logo. Beneath that, we have our plentiful land/agriculture. We have this green space with that rolling hills and the orchards that we talked about in our brand story. And we used perspective in the lines there to really show that we have a vast amount of land here, again, connecting back to our tagline, "Space to Grow." Beneath that, we have our WordMark logo. So this is just the text-only version of the logo. And in that, we still wanted to have that unique element inside of it. So we included a very small apple leaf, again, connecting back to Alexander County's apple production. This is also a really great way to kind of add dimension to different design elements. You've been kind of seeing it throughout this presentation. I always love to have some sort of small element that is simple enough, not too busy, but still can kind of be that unique tell of our visual brand. And lastly, we have our ACNC logo. This is our secondary logo, or our submark, it's sometimes called. And for this one, we outlined the county and put ACNC at the heart of it as well. So no matter which logo you're using, and you'll see on the next slide that there are several different logos you can use, it's going to have some sort of unique element to the county. So this is our full logo library. If we're looking at our main logo, it's going to be those first three logos. So our stacked logo, our long logo, and our WordMark logo. So those are our primary logos. Very versatile. On the left side there, we kind of go into when you would use which logo. But to summarize, you would want to use one of our main logos, depending on what we're putting it on. And then if we had some sort of fun merchandise, we would use something like our submark for that ACNC logo. I won't go too much into our color here, but I did want to include this just to kind of showcase how we infuse brand story into something as simple as colors. As you can see, we've given a name to every color here, and Alexander County's main colors are going to be shades of blue and green. But as you can see with our dark green, we've named it Emerald to connect back to Hiddenite, and we've got Rocky Face Gray and Cotton as kind of this off-white color. So really just finding unique ways that we can still infuse that brand story into things like color. These are examples of social media graphics. So this is just included just to show you how color and typography and the logo can all work together to create graphics, whether that's for social media or for print or digital ads. And the ones that I want to call out here are the top right and the bottom left. Ian was just talking about all the different ways that we can use our new tagline in different marketing messages. And these are examples of how we can do that. So if we've got somebody climbing a mountain, space to explore, or kids playing on a playground, space to play, or kids at school, space to learn. So there are a lot of different ways that we can use our brand messaging in our graphics to really kind of send home this new brand. These are some examples of merchandise. I always like to emphasize these are examples, so you don't need to feel like you have to make a Yeti with this logo on it right away. But with this submark logo, the ACNC, I think it's a great logo for merchandise, whether that's a sticker or a t-shirt that you'd be giving out at events. It's really fun and kind of encapsulates our brand and our beautiful new branding. And then if we go to the next one, we have examples of print. So letterhead, business cards, envelopes, and then also on the left side there, a billboard example of how we can use our brand messaging with something as simple as just a photo of green spaces, and it really sends home that message of who we are. I believe that's it, and I'll hand it back over to Ian.
Thanks, Gemma. So this tonight really is the end of the first phase of Alexander County's branding project. Our hope, and I believe what Gary will recommend, is approval of the branding and implementation. There are several steps that Haven is still contracted to support the county on with implementation. The first step in that is our comprehensive brand report, which includes a lot of what we've already talked about tonight, as well as some of the key themes and the highlights from all of our research and community engagement. We'll also be supporting Gary with a media kit and initial press release, should you choose to approve the brand, to communicate the fact that the county has adopted this new branding. After that, we'll be working with the communications team on updating the website's design to match that branding, and then providing a 12-month implementation support plan. So this is really a gateway or a benchmark, more so than it is a finish line, but it's a really big moment for the county as we now have something that we feel really strong about, and as I know some of you have seen it and probably heard from Gary that the committee seems pretty happy with. The last thing I will say is, while this part of the process took a few months, really the entire rebranding experience takes a total of 18 months. And that includes time for the public to become familiar with and adopt that brand. So it will take time, even with everything we're talking about tonight, to fully implement that brand and get it into the public eye. Not necessarily thinking you all should go and update every single Public Works vehicle overnight. So those are things that also take time, but this is really a big step, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you all have.
Outstanding.
Thank you.
I thought so. I was looking through the pictures, and that one right there on the billboard, absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
And I thought the presentation was very good. Great ideas.
I like the clean look, modern. You're taking it from the land we're on through the mountains, sky's the limit. We do have a saying around here, especially if you've attended any sporting events, basketball, this, that. We are AC, so I was glad to see the AC on there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we really love that submark, and I think it'll be a good, it'll be a really nice complement to the Alexander County logo. And one of the things that I'll mention is this does not replace your county seal. And that's one thing that a lot of communities have to balance of when do they use the seal versus the marketing logo that we presented. I think that's something that you and the communications team can set guidelines on, and we can provide some guidance on that. But your official county seal is still the county seal, and as you're using that on any official documents, just so you know how that works. Yeah.
Well, I don't want to say, I was a very, very small part of the committee because most of the meetings were midday, and that's hard, that was hard for me with work schedule. But I was impressed. The committee was made up of, of quite a few county folks, being county employees and/or, but also, community members. And like I said, I think overall the process went very well. And, proud to have been a teeny tiny part of it, because that's about all I was able to all I was able to contribute.
Underselling it a little bit, we do appreciate all your hard work on the committee and every committee member, which is a really critical part to the entire process. So a lot of time invested by staff to get this right and get the process, where it needed to be to see what you all have in front of you tonight.
And so from this point on, if we approve this tonight, you say take, 18 months, or what's the time period from here to finish up to get it to where you want it to be?
Yeah, it's a great question. So 18 months includes the work that we've already done. And that is really a framework, and some of that depends on things like how quickly you choose to update branding or marks on things that are sometimes larger expenses, like vehicle wraps or vehicle door decals, Public Works, things like that. If you've got water tanks or towers, those are expensive and timely to redo. Those are some of the longer term rebranding activities that could fit within that 18 months, or you could take longer, and that's really up to your own kind of energy or willpower to do. For us, that 18-month timeframe is also about public adoption and is it part of the public conversation? But the part that we're talking about of the implementation steps that were on the screen, that will be probably 2 to 3 months more at most for the part that Haven has to play on that implementation. So the next step, like I said, is that brand report. That'll just be a few weeks for us to pull all of our research and findings together. And then the biggest chunk left really is the website updates and everything that Chad will have to do to update the Alexander County website.
Looks good. It's a social media society too, so we're out there.
It is.
It's out there, isn't it, Ron?
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough. Yeah, social media is a challenge. I'll just leave it at that.
All right. Well, gentlemen, what is your pleasure?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the branding plan and, what's the term? The new brand for Alexander County.
There's a motion made. Is there a second?
Adopt.
Second.
Can we say adopt?
Adopt, yes.
Okay, thank you.
To adopt.
To adopt.
Yes, to adopt.
Yes. To adopt was the word.
To adopt the branding package.
Right. Okay, so there's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Motion carries. Proceed.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen, so much. I think this will be something we can be proud of as we move Alexander County forward. Thank
We
you.
appreciate the hard work that your department's put together and the things y'all have done
Yes,
to
sir.
make this work. And Chad's sitting back there in the back, taking care of us right now, and I know he's had a lot of input also.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you very much, and thank you for your dedication and your work.
And we do have a new water tower under construction.
Yes,
Yep,
we do.
and this will be on it.
Absolutely.
Could
We do.
potentially be logoed as the first major implementation.
Yep.
Other, you know.
We don't have to
physical-
rebrand the water tank because it's not up yet, so it's gonna be perfect.
Do we have any
Good
volunteers
timing.
to paint it?
I'm not much of an artist,
Green
so.
or what?
Something like that.
Yeah, John Deere Green. All right, thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Item number 11 on the agenda for the night, gentlemen, is budget ordinance amendments 16 through 19. And at this time, I'd call on County Manager, Mr. Justin Mundy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So like you said, there are 4 amendments up for consideration tonight. The first one being Budget Ordinance Amendment Number 16. This is to transfer funds from the Public Buildings Maintenance Department budget to the detention center for the replacement of water heaters at the detention center. This is not an increase to our general fund budget. This is simply moving money, basically a reclass, but it has to be done as a budget amendment. Budget Amendment Number 17, this is to adjust general fund budget for the personnel costs that differ from our original budget and for vacation payouts for employees leaving county service. Budget Amendment Number 18 is to increase the America 250 NC Project Fund for revenues received and additional fireworks costs. Again, this is not an increase to the general fund. And Budget Amendment Number 19 is to increase the budget for the water line extension project with the remaining balance of ARPA funds in the amount of $1,333,268 and the remaining amount of $192,447 coming from the water and sewer fund. No tax dollars are being used for this amendment. This is simply using up the remaining ARPA funds that we have previously received in prior fiscal years. And I'll be glad to try to answer any questions you may have.
Gentlemen, any questions? If not, I'd entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve budget amendments number 16 through 19 as presented.
Motion's made and second. Any further discussion? There being none, all in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Motion carries. The consent agenda, with the exception of item number G. County Manager, Mr. Justin Mundy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the consent agenda before you tonight, the items were included in your packet. They include some tax abatements, adjustments, and refunds, a couple sets of minutes, board committee appointments, a line item transfer report for December 2025, the 2026 Emergency Operations Plan, the Historic Preservation Commission 2025 Annual Report, a resolution authorizing a right-of-way easement to Dennis Teague, and Health Department bad debt write-off for July 1st through December 31st, 2025.
I entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda at this time.
Make a motion to approve consent agenda as given.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion is made and second. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Those opposed likewise, motion carries. And at this time, item number 13 is closed session. And at this time, I'd call on the county attorney, Mr. Ben Falconberry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-31811A, 3, 4, and 5, I ask the board for a motion to go into closed session to consult with an attorney retained by the county to preserve the attorney-client privilege, to discuss matters relating to the location or expansion of industries or other businesses in the county served by the board, including an agreement on tentative lists of incentives, and to establish or instruct county staff concerning the position to be taken in negotiating a purchase price and other material terms of a contract for the acquisition of real property by purchase, option, exchange, or lease. I do not anticipate any further action following closed session.
Thank you. Gentlemen, I entertain a motion.
Make a motion to enter into closed session,
Do we have a second?
per all the things he said.
Correct. Have a second. Motion's made and second. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries. Gentlemen, this will conclude the general session of the Alexander County Board of Commissioners. We will re-adjourn for the primary purpose of adjournment only. No action will be taken.